back, I don't know how many hundreds of years ago, the Scots, right? They come up with golf. Okay. And
Yeah,
they,
it reminds me of that Bugs. There's that classic Bugs Bunny where
right.
he's golfing with the.
With the kilt on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So the Scots come up with golf. They decide to take a stick and hit a ball into a hole a really long ways away. Okay. And who knows why? They were probably drinking
The
scotch.
neighbors are like, "Phooey, it'll never catch on."
Yeah, exactly, right? And so then, years and years later, they comes along these two groups, okay? And these two groups are the Hebrew Roots movement and the Messianic movement, okay? And they are somewhat distinct in the two movements, but they're both playing golf, right? Now, think about golf back in the 1970s, okay? Now this is not meant to be a dig on any one group, but back in the 1970s, my dad, in the 80s, I was born in the 80s, so in the mid 80s, my dad would watch golf. I remember this distinctly. These guys were walking around. They had pot bellies, right? They would be smoking a cigarette on the green, okay? They'd have like a hoagie sandwich and a beer in between holes, right? I mean, they were not the model of health, okay? But they were the best golfers in the world, okay? So they had found something that they were not only good at, but that they had elevated. They had elevated this game, okay, to something better. Okay. Now, as time progresses, right, people are building off of what these guys did. Some of these legends who were literally putting with a cigarette hanging out their mouth. And now you get to like today, and even in the early 2000s, things are like innovating more and more. You're getting better equipment. You're getting all these things. So they're building off the past, okay? And now you come into like the 2020s, and you see these guys who are pro golfers, and they are on heavy diets. They're, muscle building diets. They're going to the gym all the time. They are legit athletes, right? And they're doing that because they've realized that if they stay in shape and they eat right and they become world-class athletes, guess what? They can hit the ball even farther and they can do even better and shave strokes off, okay? I see the Torah movement as a whole, and that includes all of it, the Hebrew Roots movement, the Messianic movement, whatever else you want to throw in there with it. I see this all as kind of like that progression. You have people come in the 80s and they've got some really great stuff, okay? But they haven't quite figured all of it out. And now as we're coming into like the 2020s, there's a younger generation that's building off that first generation, that first, the people who came first. And it's getting better and better. And what I mean by better and better is the theology is becoming locked in. Throughout from 2000 to 2020, there's still no Hebrew Roots like official doctrine or faith statement or anything like that. All you have is teachers. That's it. And so I responded to the gentleman who, and I legitimately respect this person who emailed me. And so I emailed him and I said, I understand what you're saying. However, when we tour around, one of the things that we notice with people who call themselves Hebrew Roots is that they tend to learn under teachers in the Hebrew Roots movement. And inevitably, they're going to adopt those theologies of that teacher. And we're going to talk about this more and more. And so ultimately the question is do the Hebrew Roots teachers have good theology? And I would argue that for the most part, I have not found a Hebrew Roots teacher that doesn't have some pretty large theological error. And we could talk. Each teacher has has their own kind of flavor, and comes with their own theology. Their own little twists. And so I'm not trying to, last week I wasn't trying to down the Hebrew Roots movement or the Messianic movement. What I was trying to show actually is that the younger generation of Torah observant believers, you can call them Christians, you can call them pronomian, you can call them Hebrew Roots, you can call them Messianic, you can call them whatever you want. that younger generation is realizing, hey, we got to get education. We have to lock down, foundational theology. Everybody can't just be a Lone Ranger. And because of that, all of a sudden, the generation that's coming up right now in the Torah movement, they're the ones who are going to lock in like legit good theology. And it remains to be seen where that's going to be.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.